Baruch Dayan Hamet, we praise the Judge of Truth. If you have a cell phone, which I used to say and a pager, but not many people have pagers anymore, but everyone pretty much has a cell phone. Would you please turn it off or set it to stun or just so it's not ringing? Just about every service, somebody's cell phone rings and the guy goes, oh, I can't believe I forgot. So I know Elaine likes to talk on the phone a lot, but I'm not sure she'll be calling right now, although it would be all right if she did. Baruch Dayan Hamet, we praise the Judge of Truth. We begin with Psalm 121. Esai enai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Ad yiten lamot raglecha ad yanum shemecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka ve'arech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzedcha avuecha me'ata va'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken our beloved Elaine Wolfe. Friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Elaine's love, which united so many people in life and which death cannot sever. For her companionship that was shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind which brought joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. For all of these and more, we give our thanks to God. It is a time of grief, a time of sadness, and so we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures once again from Sefer Tehillim, from the book of Psalms. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Let us recite the 23rd Psalm together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We have a few dear family members coming forward to eulogize Elaine. We begin with Lori's husband, Danny, to be followed by grandson Noah, and then son Andy, and whomever else comes up with is all right.
Thank you, Rabbi. Yeah, my name is Daniel Katz. I'm married to Lori. I'm Elaine's son-in-law. And obviously Lori's a bit emotional, so she wrote a speech. She wanted me to read it. And then I'll also have a few words of my own. So this is Lori's words. Dear Mom, I feel so blessed to have had you as my mother. My heart is full of memories of our times together. You were sweet, beautiful, always on the go, and could talk on the phone for hours, and so full of life. You loved to travel, play mahjong, and shop, and you truly taught me the meaning of shop till we drop. You always took pride in your appearance, meticulously dressed, perfectly groomed, and never without your radiant smile. You deeply loved your friends and family and treasured every moment spent with them. You came from a large, very close-knit family. I know how much you adored your many aunts, uncles, and cousins and kept them close to your heart. You loved sleepovers at their homes and spent as much time with them and talked about them often. Life wasn't always easy for you, but you managed to rise above those hard times, and it made you a much stronger person. You also deeply loved your brother and sister, all of your nieces and nephews, holding a special place in your heart for them. You became close with Daddy's family here in Cleveland, California, and Baltimore. Mom also became close to Daniel's mom, my mom, Rena, my sister, Leora, and her children. When I was in elementary school, I often volunteered you to be room mom just for the chance to have you near me. I loved being around you because you could make any place and any moment more fun. I was proud of you and that you were my mom, and I loved holding your hand. You were devoted to Grandma Gigi when she grew older and became ill. Your daily visits and the care you gave her showed me the true meaning of family. Thank you for giving me a Jewish education, sending me to Hebrew school. You instilled in me the pride in my heritage and a love for Israel and the values that guide me to today and forever. Daddy's devotion to you was unwavering, both in sickness and in health. This past May, despite the challenges, he traveled with you to New Orleans for Micah's graduation from Tulane University, so that you could share in the milestone together. It meant so much to have you there celebrating as a family. Dad took such great care of Mom. She relied on you for everything. I know you desperately wanted her to be well. Her happiness was always your number one priority, and I'm certain she felt your love and care these past few years especially. Take comfort in knowing she was loved and had a life well lived. She loved you completely. Andy, thank you for being there for Mom when I wasn't here. I know you and Mom shared a very special, close bond. You were so devoted to her. You were a constant joy and comfort to her, and a loving, caring, sensitive son who always treated Mom with utmost dignity and respect. She loved Jonah, Josh, and Leslie with all her heart. I can never repay you for always being there for her. Noah, Gabby, and Micah loved their Bubby deeply and will always hold the memories they shared with you. You were so proud of them, and nothing made you happier than showing them off to your friends and talking about their accomplishments. You gave us all countless moments of joy, and that will live in our hearts forever. It's hard to imagine life without you, leaving behind Daddy, Brian, Andy, and me. I'm sorry that these last few years were so hard. It hurt to see you struggle, but I take comfort in knowing that you are now at peace, free from pain, and reunited with those you love. You will always be in my heart, Mom. I will carry your spirit, love, and strength with me every single day. I love you forever, my sweet Mommy. I only wish I told you more often how much you mean to me and how truly loved you are and always will be. For now, I send you a huge kiss and a hug and all my love. So those are Laurie's words. So my own experience with Elaine began early on during one of my first visits to Cleveland when Laurie and I were dating. And Laurie took me to the JCC to meet her mom, who worked there. Elaine came out from the back office in accounts payable to the front desk, greeting me and her with her beautiful smile. She was so warm and welcoming and immediately introduced me to all her ladies working there. From that very moment, I could feel her kindness and energy. In the years that followed, whenever we visited Cleveland, I went to the JCC for a workout. Even long after Elaine had retired, everyone still knew her there. They would smile and say, "You're Elaine's son-in-law." Her presence and warmth clearly left a lasting impression on everyone she met. After I proposed to Laurie, Elaine was so happy and excited. Along with Laurie, she helped coordinate and put together a beautiful wedding at the Marriott Society Center in downtown Cleveland. I don't know if it's still there, but that's where we got married. It was truly an unforgettable event, elegant, joyful, and filled with love. Later, after the boys were born, Elaine loved visiting us in California. She enjoyed being part of so many milestone celebrations and holidays, and of course, she loved escaping the cold Cleveland winters. Shortly after Gabby's bar mitzvah, we held a 70th birthday party for Elaine. Since so many friends and family were in town for the celebration, she absolutely relished the attention and the joy of being surrounded by those she loved. Elaine's birthday is shared with my own mom on September 17th, a special connection that always made the day even more meaningful. And I can see Elaine in the faces of my own children, in their expressions, their warmth, and their love of family. To know her was to love her, and I truly loved Elaine, and I will miss her dearly. Thank you, everybody.
And to those words spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen.
I'm Noah. For those that don't know me, I'm Bubby's oldest grandson. And with my brothers, Gabby and Micah and I, we just wanted to put together our happiest and best memories of our grandmother to share with you guys. Bubby was very sharp and quick-witted. She had a little bit of a temper, but it always made us laugh. For example, whenever she'd be mad at Papa, she would sometimes yell at him with some choice words that I'm not going to say right now. My Bubby and Papa had a very unique relationship. They were meant for each other. One time in Hawaii on a family vacation, Bubby stepped in a pothole and fell to the ground. Somehow this was Papa's fault. She was very proud of us and our family. Family meant everything to her. We would be out and about, and she would love introducing us, her grandkids from California, to everyone she could. she was so proud to be our grandmother and loved us so much. She came to all of our milestones and left a lasting impression on us. All 3 of our bar mitzvahs, our brisses, I'm assuming, our college graduations. She didn't miss a chance to come and celebrate with the family. She didn't care much for the sports, but it says something that 3 kids who grew up in California root for all the Cleveland sports teams. She had an impact on us where we felt comfortable coming to Cleveland and feeling like we belonged here. She took us to Mitchell's Ice Cream as much as we wanted. Even if we landed in the airport and it was about to close, we would call it Mitchell's, and she'd speed from the airport to get us there, to get us the ice cream we needed. She made us want to come to Cleveland and feel comfortable being around her, made us feel loved. I was her first grandchild. I made her a bubby, and I think she thrived as a bubby. She loved her dog Madison a lot, and I know that she's with Madison, the little white Shih Tzu, scratching her belly and giving her treats right now, probably sleeping on her head like she slept on my papa's head. Lastly, she had a great memory when we were young and always remembered the little lines we used to say and bring it up to us when we were teenagers and a lot older. She used to love to remind me of this Bafari show I would put together, which was like I would wear a safari hat and pretend everyone was an animal from the zoo. I didn't love this story back then, but her absolute favorite line that she would say one time we were leaving Cleveland, I must have been 5 years old. She asked me if I was sad to be leaving her and if I would miss her. And I said to her, "A man's got to do what a man's got to do." And she always loved that line, and when her memory started to fade more recently, I would always try to remind her of that memory, and I would get a little bit of a reaction or a spark out of her. In the end, we loved her unconditionally, and she loved us, and we will miss her every day, and I hope she has found peace wherever she is. We love you, Bubby.
And let us say amen.
Most knew her by Elaine. Elaine is derived from the Greek name Helen and means sun ray or shining light. To Lori, Brian, and I, she of course was mom. To her 5 grandsons who she adored, she was always Bubby. My dad often liked to call her by her Hebrew name Etka, meaning a time or a season, symbolizing the cyclical nature of the life, the importance of adaptability, and resilience through different phases. This has never been more fitting than with regards to her struggle for life since Labor Day. To many friends and family who've expressed their condolences to me, I've said, it's just the cycle of life. We all go through it, which turned out to be an ironic choice of words because it was before I even looked up the meaning of Etka to write this eulogy. Excuse me. The name also encourages resilience in finding meaning in every phase of life, similar to how each season has its own significance. It reminds us that just like the seasons, our lives go through ups and downs, and each phase brings its own beauty and significance. It's a name that encourages adaptability and resilience, reminding us to find joy and meaning in every season of life. Mom wasn't much a collector of things or mementos, but as it turned out, when they moved from their Lyndhurst home to the current Point East condo, Dad unearthed possibly the largest collection of new and unopened picture frames, which required several trips to the Goodwill. I think Dad lost count somewhere in the hundreds. I can clearly remember all 6 8-track cassette tapes she had in her dusty rose-colored land yacht of a Cadillac. Billy Joel Glass Houses, Fleetwood Mac Rumors, Donna Summers, Neil Diamond, Barbra Streisand, and everyone's favorite, Neil Sedaka. I probably listened to each one hundreds of times, but I wouldn't call it much of a collection. She's definitely in the Nordstrom, Talbots, and Chico's Shopper Hall of Fame, and she reached platinum levels decades ago. As each kid left for college, she slowly took over every closet in the house, and possibly some neighbors, we're not sure. She was always meticulously dressed. Looking nice made her feel good about herself, and I know she took great pride in that. Mom and Dad were extremely social and cared deeply about others, whether family or friends. They were always going out for dinners and entertaining, and rarely missed anyone's simchas, birthdays, or special events. They were so close with so many friends that I believe they considered them family. Give me 1 second. I feel the greatest gift Mom gave us was that kindness is kindness and love is love. They're both thicker than blood and have no boundaries. She was tapped into that special magic of knowing that we are all truly connected. In the end, material things are of little importance or value. Kindness and love are really all there is. Her Hebrew name Etka, symbolizing the cyclical nature of life, things coming full circle. Perhaps there's a reason Mom purchased so many picture frames. She made memories with hundreds of people that were worthy of documenting, displaying, and framing. I hope you'll frame her portrait, her memory today, just as she was framing yours during the duration of her long life. Excuse me. As I reflect back, I believe she actually was a collector of something. The one thing she collected was friends, and it's so wonderful to see her collection on display here today. Thank you.
And to all of those prayers, let us say Amen. So we gather this afternoon to fulfill the solemn obligation of paying our respects to the memory of your dear Elaine Wolfe, Etka Bat Bero V'chaya. And this assembly of friends and loved ones is a comfort and a support to the sorrowing family. Elaine was a beloved wife, mother, grandmother, sister, and friend. She cherished spending time with family and friends, and she found great joy in shopping and playing Mahjong and traveling. And over the years, she worked at the JCC and in various women's clothing stores. She especially loved cooking for the holidays, and she was well known for her signature Jell-O molds. Saw one of those Jell-O molds yesterday at the house at Joel's place. He's making one. I don't know when we're eating it, but it looked good. It didn't turn out that great? You know what? She'll talk with you about that later. I mean, we hear the voices of our loved ones. We do. So yesterday, as the family reminisced about Elaine, it was a reminder of a poignant Talmudic teaching. In Tractate Yoma, which is a tractate which has entirely to do with Yoma, Yom Kippur, we learned that when the temple stood in Jerusalem, on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the high priest would go into the Holy of Holies, the innermost part of the sanctuary, and offer prayers on behalf of himself that he would be able to represent the Jewish people, that he would be cleansed of his transgressions. Then he would pray for his family. Then he would pray for the whole Jewish community. And the Talmud says here, when he would come out from offering the prayers, he would read a brief section from the Torah. It doesn't say which section, but just one section from the Torah, 5 books. And he would conclude by saying, "Far more than I have read to you is written therein." And so it is today. far more than I can ever describe, far more than all of you can describe, as you have done so beautifully, is your dear Elaine. The love you feel for her, you express by your spoken words and your unspoken reminiscences and your laughter and your tears as you share stories. She was born September 17th, 1942. Her parents, Ben and Claire Alenick, of blessed memory. She was the middle child of three: David, Elaine, of blessed memory, and Linda. She was very close and loved her aunts and her uncles, her mother's brothers, her father's sisters, and cousins. They had many, many great times they spent together. And yesterday, Linda shared, she was the most beautiful sister ever. She was very independent. She rode downtown on the trolley by herself when she was about 8 or 9 years old. She went shopping with her own money. And when she was 9 years old, she took me down, Linda said. She was stuck with me. Her favorite restaurant was Mills. She was a poor eater. She ate mashed potatoes, a roll, and chocolate milk. When she was 15, she started working at Fashion Town Dress Shop, graduated from Mayfield Heights High School. She played violin as a child, and she was an avid reader. After she married Joel and gave birth to Brian, because you're the firstborn, right? After she gave birth to Brian, she was a mother to her newborn, and she was like a mother to me too, Linda said. She loved her family, and she used to love to say, I have 5 gorgeous grandsons. Elaine met Joel Wolfe in about 1958. Joel said, I was an AZA and she was a BBG girl. I dated her girlfriend for a couple of months, and that girl was not the girl for me. I called up Elaine, and we went out. And on July 16th, 1960, it was Rabbi Green, right? Officiated. That was Emmanuel. Rabbi Green did the wedding. She was 17. I was 18. Elaine had a terrible sense of direction. And there were many stories yesterday. But thank God she was able to find the right way to meet Joel, and that was a good way to go. Elaine and Joel were married 65 years. Kano Hora, how beautiful that is. So many people can't count past 7 or 8. And 65 years. Many have been the blessings and many have been the challenges, because no family gets through without a lot of mishigas and a lot of challenges also, every family. But they were blessed many times over. 3 children and 5 grandsons. Remember, 5 gorgeous grandsons. There's Brian and Lori, her husband Daniel, Andrew and Leslie, and Noah, grandchildren Gabriel, Micah, Jonah, and Joshua. What a great Jewish family, all those biblical names. In addition to what Noah said, there was the recollection that whenever you would go out to dinner with her, she would stop at about 3 tables on the way out. You'd never get out without her talking to people. She loved to do that. She knew so many people in so many ways, so many places. She loved Hanukkah, the kids said. She loved the sun. She was a bit of a neat freak. She was meticulous in her dress. She loved her mother. She paid respect and honor to her mother. She loved chocolate, and she loved to laugh. And she loved to talk on the phone. And I asked, was it like a princess phone, you know, the one with a long cord? My mom needs a phone with a cord. You can't get that anymore. Or it's hard to find that. Because, you know, she puts the phone down, it's like, no idea where it is. But she loved to talk on the phone. And she was a bit of a night owl. And she loved her dogs. Samantha, they said, was a one-person dog. I think that meant that Samantha wouldn't let anybody else get near Elaine. That's what they said. And then there was Max and Madison. Well, after a very difficult series of challenges, medical challenges, she breathed her last on Friday morning as people were beginning to prepare for Shabbat. And now there's no more pain or suffering or discomfort. And just as Shabbat is a time of rest, so for your dear Elaine, it's a time of rest and wholeness and peace. Our Jewish tradition teaches her soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of her dear loved ones, her parents, her grandparents, her relatives, friends, and the ancestors of our people. We learn this in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. One day all of us will join our loved ones in Olam Haba, the world to come. Olam Haba is not a place. This is a place. Olam Haba is a spiritual time. And Judaism teaches we will be together with the souls of our loved ones in a spiritual sense in Olam Haba. We're sending along a couple of old prayer books and a Haggadah with her in the casket. It's a mitzvah to escort the body of your loved one to its final resting place, and also to provide respectful burial for holy books of our tradition. We sent a Passover Haggadah in particular because Pesach is the time when we recall and we give thanks for our ancient liberation from Egyptian slavery. We are free today because of God's deliverance those many, many years ago. And Elaine has been liberated and she has been delivered from any illness or pain. Your memories are filled to overflowing, and even in profound grief, we give thanks to God for this gift of long life. 83 years. We would have hoped for more. We would have hoped for many more years in health. And so we conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, v'Adonai la. The Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru yimru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of your dearly departed, Elaine Wolfe, Etka bat Bero v'chaya. Amen. In a moment we will continue with El Malei Rachamim, and then we will go in procession to the cemetery, to Mount Olive. The family has asked me to announce that should you want to make a donation in Elaine's loving memory, you can make donations to many, many different places. However, first among them, they would ask that you consider the Alzheimer's Association or Cure Alzheimer's Fund. And after the burial at Mount Olive, we'll go back to Point East, and there's a social room, and we'll light the Shiva candle. We'll do a couple of prayers and and do Kaddish there, and then the Motzi. We'll recite Kaddish for her for the next 30 days at Temple Israel Ner Tamid. We're on Lander Road. Our Friday night services are at 7:30. Even if nobody that's part of the family comes, she's getting Kaddish on Wednesday afternoon Hebrew school, Friday night services, Sunday morning religious school, and I'll sport the maj tie for the kids, so it's hard to see, but we'll recite Kaddish for her for a whole month, and I know she'll be on a Kaddish list at other congregations as well. So please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of Elaine Wolfe, for you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us so we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Hu Tohorim, Kezohara Ki Amasirim, Et Nishmat, Et Kabat Ber V'chaya, Shahalacha L'olama, Ba'al Harachamim, Yastireha B'Seter Kanafav Le'olamim, Vayitzro B'Tzro HaChaim, Et Nishmata, Adonai Hu Nachalata, V'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava, v'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Elaine Wolfe. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. And now the funeral director will come forward and give us instructions for the procession.